What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic afternoon. The Miami Hurricanes have beaten the Virginia Tech Hokies 20-14. Hey, the three-game losing streak is over, Ross. We finally are back on the win column. We're 3-3, and I'll tell you what, this was an ugly-ass game. No, it was hideous. The first half, offensively, I thought was great. I wish we could finish some drives instead of settling for field goals. Second half was completely ugly. I think we had north of 17 penalties. Definitely over 150 penalty yards. Keep in mind, I'm not counting penalties that were declined, which there was, I believe, late in the fourth quarter, a holding call in Miami, and they declined it because they converted. So it could have been more. That's not good at all. And Virginia Tech's a really bad opponent. So much to talk about. I will say this, Tyler Van Dyke is back to his normal self. I like how we're airing out the football a lot. I didn't like how towards the end of the game was awful clock management. You run the football, okay? When you're winning against an opponent, and there's a chance they can come back in that football game. There's 5 minutes left. You want to run the football. Create some draw plays. Have some short passes designed to your running backs where they don't go out of bounds where it's going to be a complete pass. Run the ball at least. I mean, stop taking shots. That was awful.
I don't know if they feel like this whole taking shot thing is more than just what they do. It's their identity on offense. I mean, it's actually like the full bore identity for 4 quarters of football. And that's not smart football, though, dude. It's just not. I mean, there's a time and place for all of this stuff. Unfortunately, I think maybe we're a little hesitant to do things in the backfield today because of the 2 running backs that we had, honestly. But at the same time, though, you got to be able to trust the guys that you put in the game. You got to be able to trust the offensive line's got to make holes. The offensive line's got to stop committing penalties. I mean, it's just I'm glad that we held on, I'm glad that we found a way to hold on and get a win. I mean, that's of course, of course, I'm glad we held on for that. But dude, I mean, this could have slipped away so fast and so easily.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, like Miami was playing to lose this football game.
In the second half, yeah.
We should have won by 30. Like, really, we were like the Corey Couch penalty at the end was so stupid. It was so dumb.
Immature.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, we got a long way to go. A very long way to go. I'm really happy that Colby Young got involved. 9 receptions, 61 receiving yards. I don't know why it took us to week 5 to identify him as a playmaker on this offense. I'll never understand that. I don't think anyone else understands that. But at least he's being played right now. And he looks, I mean, he's probably our best receiver we have. And Will Mallory was playing very good. He's having a very good game. And I hope his injury is mine, because that's going to suck.
Skinner showed some bumps and bruises in this game. I mean, he had a drop that, I thought I should have held on to. But overall, I got to see his athleticism, and I got to see what that athleticism allows us to do on offense by spreading the field even a little bit more than we can with Mallory. And I mean, like we've talked about, he's basically a jumbo wide receiver. He's not really a true tight end when he's out there. So we see a totally different offense when Skinner's running around out there. And I'll tell you what, dude, I liked seeing Jacurri come in on some of those Wildcat formations, honestly, at the right time. At the right time, right place. And it was a shame that we had a penalty on that last one that he came in for, because the blocking on the edge had it sealed off, and that's the direction he was going to be heading towards the left, and they did a good job sealing it off. He'd have had that first down. I have no doubt in my mind he'd have had that first down.
Thank you for the $2 donation, Kai Lauren Kane, Miami Kane. On a positive note, Kobe Young, playing incredible. Told you we would win. Hey, he's done a tremendous job. Don't know why it took till week 5 to get him involved in the offense, but I think he's the target that we need on offense. I think we're building something. I like how we mixed in with Brashard Smith a lot. He got a lot of targets. He made there was an incredible pass and catch that got called back for a holding call. I forgot who it was on in the early first half, but he's playing well. We're starting to get some targets in the wide receiver corps. We really are. It really sucks that Mallory, got injured as well. I thought he was playing his best football I've seen past
Yeah.
2 weeks for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, even Frank Ladson, helped out the offense a little bit today. He had a drop as well on a slant that could have gone to the house, unfortunately, but he did play a role for us as well today. So if Colby Young and Frank Ladson, with their height and their length, can continue to, help us on drives, I'm all for it, because then you got to mix, like we talked, like you just said, you mix in a guy like Brashard, totally opposite player that they are, smaller but
Yeah.
electric and faster, does totally different things for the offense. This little mix is great. It's a fantastic mix if we use it right at the right times. And we've got more players that can be added into that. But right now, these seem to be the three main guys that are putting on for us.
Ohio Hurricane $5 donation. We are so talented yet so undisciplined. Josh Gaddis will get Mario fired if he doesn't do something. Scratch my head. I look, according to the 24/7 Sports rankings, we're second best in the ACC when it comes to talent, recruiting wise. We got a long way to go. Okay, this is not going to be an easy, quick fix. I'm not going to tell you we're going to win out the rest of the season. We're not. We're not beating Clemson. I'll be honest with you. We were just in a dogfight with Virginia Tech, which a lot of people in the comment section said was the worst team in the ACC. It's got to take it one game at a time. We beat Virginia Tech. It was ugly. Can we play better against Duke? That should be a winnable game. Let's not get 18 penalties. Let's try to get less than 10. I think that would be great. Um, I mean, I hope there is talent. I hope there is, because we're paying this staff $100 million, and we're 3-3, and we could have lost this game, but we won. We won, Ross. It was just ugly. I'm just really mad at a lot of things, but
The clock management, the lack of run game. But I'll tell you what, dude. These refs made some absolutely terrible calls against the University of Miami today. I mean, just absolutely terrible calls against us. It's not the reason that VT got back in. It definitely helped them get back in, because there was one penalty at a really prime time for them and an opportune time for them to move the ball forward, and that's when they scored their first touchdown, I believe. It was right at like 3 plays after a big penalty.
Yeah.
But thankfully, those penalties didn't completely shoot us in the foot to the end. But dude, how do you go forward with that many freaking penalties? I mean, what do you do to change? That means the mentality. It's not just what we did on the field physically. That means the mentality has to change. The technique has to change. IQ has to change on the field. All those things, refining the basics again, going back to them, dude. We got to get that down before we start exploring and doing these wild, crazy things, because we don't have the basics yet still.
Ross, I want to ask you a question, because our run game really has been obsolete lately. On paper we had 93 rushing yards, but if you break it down, we haven't done shit with our running backs. I mean, Knighton had 9 carries for 24 yards. That's 2.7 a carry. Franklin had 4 carries, 24 yards. Jakuri, he got in the mix with his package. Luscious Stanley, 3 carries, 20 yards. I mean, everyone's really, we haven't identified a leader running back to get the room going. Parrish, I think for the most part, has been our best running back this season. Knighton coming in, he's been battling an injury. Hasn't been a good season for him. I think that's fair. It hasn't been a good season.
His explosive
abilities, not creating holes. I mean, what's going on, you think?
I think it's a combo of a lot of it, dude. Not creating holes, not having running backs with big burst that to shoot through the holes. I mean, if you want guys like Thad and them to have success, you got to have good blocking up front. Knighton was our guy to get more explosive plays out of, but Knighton clearly isn't explosive right now. I don't know if it's a hesitancy because of the injury that he had, or if he's still playing a little hurt. I'm honestly not sure. He doesn't look explosive, dude. We saw him as a freshman, dude. We saw him. This was a fast player, not just fast but quick as well. And I'm not seeing these quick, sharp cuts. I'm not seeing these big, long runs. I'm not seeing him breaking any tackles hardly. It's really left us, having to have him and a walk-on in our backfield.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. I think it could be the injury. Fumble last week had nothing to do with the injury. I mean, if you fumble, that's on you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the injury. I think he's battling it. He's battling through the injury. Like you said, he hasn't been the same. Our whole running back room hasn't been healthy. I think a team as a whole, we get injured every 5 minutes. Like you
It's
just walk
crazy.
down the hallway, you get injured. It seems like every week there's a new injury. I didn't know Parrish wasn't going to play today. Stevenson, he
Is
didn't
there
play.
a time? By the way, do we have a timetable for Parrish?
I don't know. This is all new to me. I didn't know Parrish was out this week. Every
Yeah,
week it's a new player.
yeah,
Every week.
yeah.
I mean, the injury bug has hit Miami hard this year, and I don't know what it is.
It's hitting us in game too, and it's
Yeah,
affecting the guys who are having to play through injuries due to guys who are out. I mean,
yeah.
it isn't football. Eventually, you got to start playing through injuries when you just don't have the bodies out there. You got to start doing things you normally wouldn't want to do. But let's just hope that we don't have to push guys too hard and turn just being hurt into actual genuine injuries. That's what we don't want.
Last thing I'll say from the offense before we switch off to the defensive side of the football, red zone offense. This is a broken record, needs to be fixed. You can't win games scoring field goals. You can't. You
No.
need to have success in the red zone. Other teams are doing it. Miami's got to fix it. And Josh Gaddis, you're getting paid a lot of money to be the OC here. No excuses. I don't want to hear that you don't have the personnel. Make it work. Because you
Oh,
didn't have Kobe Young the first 4 games, and guess what? You played him, and he's doing well. So you do have the personnel. You just didn't
yeah.
want to play them.
The personnel is absolutely there, especially considering red zone when you've got Ladson and Colby Young, and you've got the threat of Brashard being so quick coming out of the backfield. Add in Keyshawn Smith on top of that as well, who's a guy who we know can get in the end zone. Dude, the options are there. TBD when he's throwing on the when he's on, dude, we've got to be able to produce in the end zone. And if they're producing everywhere else on the field but the red zone, what does that say? That says that the play calling isn't matching our strengths. That's what it tells me.
Yeah. Let's switch it over to the defensive side of the football. Ross, I thought the D line played incredible today. I thought this was their best game of the season. We applied a ton of pressure on their quarterback. I'm not sure how many sacks we got, but it was definitely, it had to be 5 at least.
Yeah,
We
it's fine.
applied a
Yeah.
ton of pressure, man. A ton of pressure. Akeem Mesidor. That's probably the only NFL player we have right now that's eligible.
I'll tell you what about Mazador, dude. I love his patience and understanding on the outside, realizing that quarterbacks, if there's a hole up the middle, they're going to try to take that run. He's fantastic at disengaging with his offensive lineman and
Yeah.
getting to that quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. I've seen him do it multiple times this year. He actually does it very, very, very well. It's been a big help for us. It's made it so when those big holes open up through the middle, quarterbacks aren't getting 10, 15-yard runs. They're running into Mesidor instead. And that's a huge help for us, dude. I was very, very pleased with the defensive line play too. We definitely need them to keep it up. We definitely need them to keep it up because with these red zones issues on offense, that means your defense has got to keep it up.
Lucky Luciano, $2 donation. Thank you so much. Stars mean nothing. Scout the players, not the stars. I agree. I do agree with that.
Development.
I'll take Xavier Estrepo, 3-star wide receiver. I mean, I think he knows the playbook in and out. I think he sets a great example to other players. Look at Kobe Young. Shit, look what he's doing. He came from a junior college. I don't even know where.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing. I mean, stars really don't matter. It's players who want it. So,
And it's also about the players being developed properly, Paul. I mean, you can want it all you want, but if you got bad coaching or you got bad play calling that doesn't fit your strengths, it ain't nothing right going to happen, dude. So development. We have some talent on this team. We don't have a ton of talent on this team. We don't. We simply don't have a ton of talent, but we do have some and enough to make a little noise in the ACC and to make a little more noise than we should have against Virginia Tech.
Want to talk about the secondary. I was not pleased with today at all, to be honest. Virginia Tech had an easy touchdown that the wide receiver decided to drop, which should have been 7 points easily. There were a couple other plays. There was one, the running back, that could have converted a third down that nobody was near him, 10 yards. The announcer even stated it. No, I think our cornerbacks, I think a good football team with a good quarterback, I think they get exposed. Honestly, I wasn't really impressed with them. Virginia Tech's not a good team, you know, not. And we dodged a lot of bullets this game.
You know, it's a road game that does play into effect into me when I'm considering what we've gone through and the atmosphere that's there and how much Virginia Tech hates us, but still the lack of talent on that Virginia Tech team is so clear and so evident, dude. I mean, seriously, that team does not have much talent at all on either side of the ball, and to see us come out like we did and look like the Miami of some previous weeks we've had where we put up some big stats early and we've kept it going after halftime. To see us just, I don't even want to say take the foot off the gas, but just not execute on offense in the second half. It was troubling, dude. I don't like one half football. I've always hated one half style football where everything changes.
Ross, I'm going to say something about James Williams. There was a play when the game started. He should have had an easy pick six. This is the second week in a row where we could have had an easy turnover. As a football team, if you want to be successful, if you want to win football games, turn that corner. That's the difference in a football game. You get interceptions, you score off of those turnovers, you set up your offense for success in good field position. That's what changes games.
Yeah.
You got to have that pick. You have to. I know he came in as a 5-star recruit, big time player. You got to make those plays, man. I'm sorry. I see it weekly with Miami, and if we want to turn the corner of a football team, we need to execute. There's no excuse for dropping those passes. None at all.
Yeah. We see it weekly, unfortunately, too, man. I mean, it seems like back there in the DBs, the only guy who's really going to haul it in most of the time is Kinchins. That's what it feels like, you know. I think he's even had a drop or two there. I'll tell you what, dude. There's something else about James Williams that I want to add on to it as well. It's something I've noticed, and it just keeps happening and happening. He likes to tackle with his shoulder. He wants to do that one pop. You know, I'm big. I'm bigger than you. I don't need to wrap you up. I can just pop you and knock you to the ground, type of thing. He's gonna need to start wrapping up, dude. He's gonna need to start wrapping up more. And it's just the basics of football in that aspect. He is a tremendous talent with incredible upside, physical upside through the roof. Just get the mental part of the game and get the refinement, like we talked about earlier. Just refine these basics, dude, and watch him shine. Watch him shine. I guarantee he'd be a star after he got that done, dude.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Anything else on the defense? I mean, my whole thing today was penalties, awful clock management, which that's on Mario because it was horrendous. I think in one of the second to last drive, there were 10 seconds left on the game, not on the game clock. Um, why am I blanking right now? I'm so over this fucking season. There were 10 seconds left, so they can hike the ball, and they
On the
just
play clock.
yeah on the play. Yeah, I fucking Christ. Yeah,
You got it.
and we snap it. We snap it. We don't let 10 more seconds burn. You know, it's just frustrating. I don't understand it. I get pissed because like this team can easily be like the games we played. 5-1 at least. We can easily be like that. We could have beaten UNC. Middle Tennessee State kicked our ass. We were in a fight with Texas A&M, which shot ourselves in the foot. Like it's frustrating, and you're paying the staff $100 million. Get it fixed. Like you shouldn't be like 18 penalties. That's like this is going backwards. Like get it fixed.
A comment here too. I see in there that definitely want to bring up Daryl Porter. He also missed an interception as well. Um, uh, I'm not a huge fan of Porter, honestly. I'm really not. I haven't been truly impressed at what he's done when he needs to play. Porter and Ivy playing are opposites. I mean, that's tough, dude. That's tough, man. At least for me, that's tough to swallow. I'm hoping to get a little bit more health and some talent back over at the CB core because I don't know, man. I don't see us. I see teams picking us apart if we continue to have Ivy and Daryl Porter as our starters. I just see them picking us apart, especially as more and more film comes out as to how they truly play. watching Porter play so far off his receiver on that, was it like a 3rd and 8 play, and then just having that receiver do a simple stop and come back and catch the ball, and Porter wasn't even within 3 or 4 yards of him, dude. Easy first down. It's stuff like that, dude. Stay in the guy's pocket, dude. Play a little bit physical. Yeah, they were throwing flags at us, but dude, don't give up on 3rd downs. Never give up on 3rd down.
You know what? There was in the red zone, Virginia Tech's last touchdown. We sent the house down. We literally blitzed everyone.
Yeah.
And then we set up it was basically dumped it off to the running back, and it was a one-on-one situation against James Williams, right to knock him down, the running back, and he got into the end zone. But I felt like on that play in particular, I felt like when you mentioned give up, I mean, it was a bad play call in general, but I just felt like we could, if we're bringing the house down, you got to get to the quarterback, and I don't think we brought it that on that play.
It's almost like a faked intimidation,
Yeah.
It's not going to get the job done. If you're going to bring the house, you better get your hands on the quarterback, and if it's not getting a sack, it's getting hands on him directly as he's throwing or right after he throws the ball. But as we know, though, too, we got to be a little bit concerned about when we touch quarterbacks, because refs like to throw flags against us if we just do some basic ass shit. So who knows? Hopefully the refing issue gets cleaned up next week. I doubt it does, but I hope it's better than it was this week, because I don't want to watch that bullshit again, honestly, dude. I don't want to see that bullshit again of what we went through today. I really don't. The players didn't deserve that. And not just from the reffing standpoint, but from the coaching standpoint, the players didn't deserve the clock management and all that kind of stuff. Our players deserve a little bit better than that from the refs and our coaching staff, in my opinion.
Ross, anything else you want? I agree with James. Why play man to man when you can't cover? I agree. You got to stay strictly zone.
Seriously.
You're going to get beat against elite receivers. Like, Virginia Tech is a slow team. They're a very slow team. Like, they don't have speedsters, burners. Like,
no,
it's not really good to the football team.
They don't have a wide receiver one, really.
Right, exactly. Like, their quarterback's awful. Like, anything else you want to say? I mean, my overall summary: we won. Cool. We got the job done. Now we got Duke. But this was an ugly football game, and you can't tell me good win. You can't tell me that. You cannot tell me good win when you give up 18 penalties for over 150 yards. Okay? You're basically giving up close to 2 touchdowns. You shoot yourself in the foot constantly. It's not even playing down to your opponent. We're just not a good football team, and we got a long way to go. And that clock management was atrocious. Okay? Can't get the run game going. O-line played awful. They played awful. Coach Mirabal, you said you're going to cut your arms, your limbs. The offensive line unit is one of the worst units in the nation on this football team. Whatever it is, but buddy, it's pretty fucking bad. Okay? It's pretty bad. So get it fixed. You guys are getting paid $100 million, this coaching staff, to get it fixed at Miami. I don't care we lose to a Texas A&M. Okay, that's fine. It's year one. But don't give up 18 penalties over 150 yards, okay, to a Virginia Tech team that is the worst in the ACC that could have beat you today. They could have easily won this game. Get it fixed. Beat the opponents you're supposed to beat. And don't lose to Middle Tennessee State, to a subpar UNC team. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat, okay? It's that simple. Because right now, Ross, we're looking like 6-6, 5-7. I don't know. It looks bad.
We look like dog food to the good teams right now, bro. I mean, it's not a good look, dude, at all. It's not a good look. It's like you said, we'll take the win. We're not gonna sit here and say good win. Far too many issues with that, and we all know that a good team would have probably handled us today pretty badly. They probably would have taken us to the house today, dude, if we played a really good team, giving up that many penalties, making that many mistakes. We got to remember, at one point in time in this game, we were up by 20 points.
20? The first half was great. Besides the penalties, it was a fantastic first half. I was excited, fired up. I thought we were going to put up 20 more.
Even though we settled for a field goal or two, I was still excited about the first half. But, dude, that second half, I mean, just dead. just dead in the water. And I was so shocked to see that because of how on target TBD had been. And I don't know if it's just because there is a true lack of the run game and no respect from defensive coordinators to try to stop it and just stop the pass. But dude, that was weird, man. I mean, that was weird for me to see him fall off a cliff just right after halftime.
Hopefully we'll get there one day. Hopefully we'll get there, Young Bucks. Hopefully. Tennessee's playing phenomenal. They beat Pitt. They're beating Alabama. They beat Florida. Had a big win last week.
Innovative offense.
We'll see.
Yep.
So anything else, Ross, before we wrap it up? I said everything I had to say. We beat Virginia Tech. Whatever. Move on. We have Duke now. Let's get the win. 1 week at a time.
Let's just not beat Duke. Let's put the hurt on Duke.
Right.
Let's win by 14, 17, 20. Let's at least make it a good game. Let's at least make it a good quality win.
Exactly. Just dominate the teams that you're supposed to dominate. And Don't put them in a position where they can win the game. It's simple.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I say what I say. And if you guys like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And let's beat Duke next week. Seriously, we're out of the losing streak. This was an ugly win. Let's move on to Duke. Let's do it.
Let's put up 40-50 next week.
Go Canes.